All right, so what I want to do here is talk about something called enhanced object literals. So in JavaScript, we already know we can create an object literal using the curly braces. And I'm basically just going to show you a few additional things you can do, some things that you might not understand, or some things that might speed up your work, okay? So first off, I already have this guy posted in the description, so don't worry about trying to copy it. We have this small object here, and basically, if we look at it, we have a name, an address, the restaurants, the fast food, and the anchor stores as your properties. Okay, so let's say that you wanted to add in a few more properties. The first one I'm going to add in is going to be the number of parking spaces, and the next one is going to be the number of charging stations. So let's go ahead and put those in, and maybe we'll put these down here. So let's put something like the parking spaces. Okay, so we're going to put a colon here. Let's say it's 2050. Okay, and then also let's do the charging stations like this. Let's say there's 300 available. Okay, I'm also going to put a little method in here that's going to be about the parking info. So if somebody requested how many parking spaces, how many charging stations, they'd get a little string back. So I'm going to do something like get parking info. Okay. And then I'm going to do an anonymous function here. And then basically, I'm just going to return a simple little string. I'll say we have, and then I'm going to reference this keyword and then dot parking spaces. And then I'll say parking spaces, right? Because this right here is going to end up being a number. In this case right now, it's 2050. So we have 2050 parking spaces. And then you could say available like this. And I'll put along with, and then I'm going to go this dot, in this case, I want the charging stations, and I'll put charging stations, and I'll say for electric, and then vehicles. Okay, so at this point, let's just console.log two things. So the first thing is I'm going to do the mall guy itself, and then I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to go mall.getParkingInfo, so I'm calling that. I just want to show you everything, and then we're going to change a few things up. Let's pop this open. Let's go ahead and run this. So in the first situation, you see that we've added in the parking spaces where you have 2050 for the value, the charging stations where the value is 300, and you have this little function here or method because we're working with an object that's the get parking info. Okay. If you look at the string that was returned from calling the get parking info method, it says we have 2050 parking spaces available along with 300 charging stations for electric vehicles. That's as expected. Okay, let's go back, and I want to show you two things that you can do that you might not be aware of. So the first thing is it's pretty common. Instead of putting a value here, you might get the value from somewhere else. So let's say we had a parking spaces variable somewhere, okay? And then here, let's say we had a charging stations variable somewhere. So let's come up here, and I'm going to go const, I'll go parking spaces, and I'll set this equal to 2050, and I'll go const, I'll go charging stations, and I'll set this equal to 300, okay? If I pop the terminal back open, you'll see no change whatsoever. Because essentially what JavaScript is going to do is, this is your property name, or some people call it a key, and then this is the value, okay? So here, this is looking for a variable that has parking spaces as the name. It's going to have that here, okay? So it's just going to take the value, which is 2050, and that's going to be replaced here, right? So this will say 2050 in the object, and this guy is going to similarly say 300. So if we pop this back open, again, you're going to see no change. Let's go ahead and run this now. It looks like I misspelled charging stations. Looks like I misspelled it here. Let's go back. Let's go ahead and clear this out and run this again. And so now, again, you're seeing the exact same thing. So you have the parking spaces, okay, that's your key or your property name. So this is 2050. And then you have charging stations, and that's 300, right? So they got those values from those variables we declared above, okay? And then again, this little string here is the same. So if we come back, I can show you an even newer way to do this. So you don't need this repetition here. This was an older way to do it. Since ES6, we can delete this altogether, okay? So we can get rid of this, and then we can also get rid of this, and it's going to work the same. So essentially what's happening is you're going to have a variable called parking spaces up here. So this is going to be the property name, or it's going to be your key, if you want to call it that. And then it's going to grab the value here as the value, okay? It's going to take this as the property name and then the value here as well. So it's going to do a similar process. So if you pop this back open, you'll see the same thing. You'll have parking spaces as the property name, and then you'll have 2050 as the value, and then you'll have charging stations as the property name, and then you'll have 300 as the value. So if I pop this back open, let's go ahead and clear this out and run this, and you see there's no change, right? So you still have this parking spaces here, okay, right here. That's your key. And then you have charging stations as a key, and you have 2050 and then 300 for the values, okay? So it's the exact same thing. It's just a shorter way to do it. It allows you to avoid that repetition. Now let me show you something else you can do. You've seen that when we work with the class syntax, that instead of having to write the function keyword, we can just write the name of the method followed by parentheses. Well, it's no different here. I don't need to do all of this. I can get rid of this function keyword and even the colon, okay? And I can just have the method name followed by a set of parentheses, okay? This is telling you have a method. And then I can put my little code block here, and it's gonna work the same, okay? So if I pop this back open, we go ahead and run this. Again, it's the exact same thing. We have 2050 parking spaces available along with 300 charging stations for electric vehicles. So let's close this. So another thing we can do here is we can create a function outside of the object if we want, and then we can put it inside. Okay, so let me show you how to do that. So I'm gonna use my function keyword here because I'm not inside of the object, so I need that. And then I'm gonna do something like get restaurants, and I can never spell restaurant, so it's rest, A-U, and then rants, like this. And then basically all I'm gonna do is first set up a little all restaurants, so all, and I gotta spell this again, rest, all rants, like this. This is going to be set as, I'm gonna merge the two. So I'm gonna do my spread operator, and I'm gonna use the this keyword because this is gonna be inside of my object, okay? So this is allowed. So I'm gonna go this dot fast food, okay, comma, and then I'm gonna go this dot your regular restaurants, okay? So basically if you come down here, it's going to take these two and merge them into one big array, okay? And this is gonna be for all the restaurants that's going to be inside of our little mall, okay? I'm gonna make a little string. So I'm going to first say let, I'll call this my string, and then I'll use some backticks here, and I'll go this dot name, okay, which is the name of the mall in this case, has, and we'll go basically all restaurants, which is local to here. So I don't need the this keyword, right? That's coming from right here. So I'm going to reference that. I'm going to say dot length, okay? And then I'll say just the word restaurants. So rest a rants, like this, okay? So basically what this is going to say is the Mall of Irvine has, in this particular case, I think there's 10. I'd have to count them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so I guess it would be 8. So in this case, it'll say Mall of Irvine has 8 restaurants, okay? Then I'm going to put a little new line here, all right? And I'll go all restaurants, and I'll use the for each method. And basically, I'm just going to loop through this guy and list each restaurant, so really quickly. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to use an arrow function, but I need access to the index. So I'm going to go res, or res for restaurant, and ind for index. And basically, I forgot my arrow here, so let me put that in there. That way I don't get an error and have to come back. So all I want to do inside of here is just build up my string. So I'm going to go my string. I'm going to go plus equals, and then with some backticks here, I'll go $ curly braces, and I'll reference this res, okay? And then the reason that I wanted my index there is that I want a new line in all the cases except for when I'm at the last guy, okay? So basically, what I'd want to do here is say if, I'll say this index here does not equal to, we want to say the all restaurants, okay, dot length, and then I want to subtract away 1. Okay, so if it's basically not the last item, what I want to do is I want to add on to that string. So I want to go my string, so my string plus equals, and I'm just going to put another little new line in there. And then at the end of this guy, I'm just going to return my string. Okay, so that's all I'm doing. Now, I wrote this outside of the function. So right now, if I called this get restaurants, it wouldn't make any sense. It wouldn't work. Okay, but all I'm going to do is I'm just going to put this inside of this guy by referencing the name get restaurants. So let's come down here into our object again, and you can throw this in anywhere. I'll just throw it right here. I'm going to put comma, and then I'm just going to type get restaurants, and that's it. Okay, that's all you need to do. So let's come down here, and then let me copy this and paste, and I'm going to type get restaurants like this. Okay, and let's pop this open, and you're going to see it works as expected. Let's go ahead and run this. So it looks like it's been added in, but we have undefined here, so it's a little error. Let's go back and see if we can fix it. So we come back to the function, you'll notice that this return my string is going to be inside of the for each method. So you want to take that out. I made that mistake. So it's got to go right here because basically all this has to happen, right? Basically all of this has to happen first, and then you want to return the string, okay? So let's pop this back open. Let's go ahead and clear this and run this again. And so now you get what's expected, right? So if you come back down here, you have your original, we have 2,050 parking spaces available along with 300 charging stations for electric vehicles. And then you have what you're looking for. Mall of Irvine has 8 restaurants. You have your Panda Express, Subway, Popeyes, McDonald's, Pizza Town, Red Robin, Chili's, and then Olive Garden. And notice how you have a new line in each case, and then after Olive Garden, you don't, okay? So lastly, when we talk about the enhanced object literals, you can now compute the property names instead of having to manually write them out, okay? So it used to be the case that when you were setting up an object, so when you're putting it inside of here, that basically you had to manually type out the property name, whatever it was. You could use something dynamically after it was set up, right? So you could add it in later, but when you're typing it out, as we're doing right here, you couldn't do it, okay? So what I wanna do is I'm gonna come up here and let me make another little variable, and I'm gonna call this const, I'll go small stores, and these are just going to be some categories. Let's go discount like this. Let's go maybe luxury, okay, like this. So maybe we don't know what these are going to be, so we just want to reference this in our object. So let's come down here, and maybe this would be a good place to put this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reference the small stores, okay, with square brackets and 0. So that's going to give me discount stores. I'm going to put my colon here, and then maybe I'll make an array, and I'll say dollar general, and then maybe another one like 99, I need my quotes, so 99 cent store, something like that, okay? And maybe I'll put a comma here, and then we'll do some square brackets again, and I'll go small stores with square brackets and 1 now, and let's use another little array, and then this is going to be for luxury, so maybe like Gucci, and then maybe we could do like Nordstrom's, so Nordstrom's like this, okay? So let's pop this back open. I'll just show you this real quick and we'll just conclude this. And just showing you that you don't have to manually type something in. You can have this as a computed value. So let's come back up. Let's go ahead and clear this. Let's go ahead and run this now. You'll see if you come back through here, you have your discount now. Okay, this is the name, right? So the discount, then you have your Dollar General 99-cent store, and the luxury is Gucci and Nordstrom's, okay? And the great thing about doing this way is that you can put any valid expression in here. So I could also use some backticks, okay? And I could reference this guy like this, and I could do something like maybe -1, okay, like this, and then let me close that off. If we pop this back open and we run this again, you see when you come back through here, now we have this discount -1, okay, as the property name or the key. So just depending on what you want to do, you can now use this with any valid expression to compute the property name instead of having to manually write it out like you had to before.